Hello, hello. Welcome to Healthy Perspectives, a podcast that takes on current cultural and social issues through a clinical lens. Hello. All right. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate your time. We're going to get right after it today with what's in your backpack. That's what we're doing today. We're going to take a look at your backpack. Last week, we started a segment that we're going to run at least for a little while. And I am wanting to explore the kinds of things today that you put in your backpack. Now, I'm not going to get super specific to you and your situation because this is just hitting. We're going to find out if I get a whole lot of feedback or not. Which I'm hoping to, because I do like your involvement. So please get involved. But we got to start somewhere, right? And so starting with what's in your backpack is a great place to start. So those of you who were following along last week and that decided to watch on Rumble or YouTube, you saw this image of this guy coming out of this like mess. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put it up again. I'm going to let you take a quick look as sort of a reminder of what we're talking about by this ginormous backpack that we call life. He's climbing up. Obviously, this is a burden at this point. It is so big and so cumbersome. It may have started off an ordinary backpack size, which most of us, that's the way it started off. It started off with us just having a regular old backpack, and we just put regular old things in there. But as we go, if we don't clean out the backpack, if we don't filter out the unimportant or the less important things, we just keep adding and adding and adding and adding. And pretty soon we got this big giant backpack that's just bogging us down. And so I, as a counselor, one of the things that I do, one of the things that happens just in my profession in general, we love to categorize things, not because it answers every single thing. It won't. But because by categorizing, we can create some organization to the chaos around us. So in the clinical world, we talk about biological, psychological, sociological, cultural, and spiritual. Now, obviously, the wheelhouse for a clinician is the psychological, sociological, cultural. That's the wheelhouse. And it's not the wheelhouse for every clinician. Why do I say that? A lot of clinicians, unfortunately, counselors in my profession, do not stay very well informed on cultural issues. Matter of fact, a lot of them buy into the same crap that you buy into, and they just stuff it in their pack, just like you would. Because truthfully, they were people before they were counselors. Some of them have great habits, some of them not so great habits. For those of you who have stuck around with me long enough to explore some of the things that we explore, we address really tough topics here with cultural issues. And we do it through a lens of psychological, sociological impact. We also address through the lens of culture, things like religion and money and guns and violence. And we'll address anything in here. It's all fair game. And so today, I want to help categorize the things that are in your backpack. You need to know what it is that's in your backpack. I'm going to start with the things. All right. Last time when we met, we talked about some things that might be in there. Things like the stuff matter of fact, just do this. Imagine for a moment you're walking in your door to your home, wherever it is you live, an apartment, a house, I don't care where it is. Imagine you're walking in. What's the first thing that you see? You carry that. You spend money on it. Maybe it's an end table. I walk in my front door and there's a rock that we got for free, but we literally have a rock as a doorstop. It's in the shape of a heart. My wife loves it, and so it sits there. But that is something, a thing that we carry, right? Then there's this table where we can put things. like keys or whatever. And she's got her little decorations on there. All of those all those decorations. Yeah, those are in our backpack. We have this whole family backpack of all these things. There's also a bookshelf, I don't know what it's called, some kind of like it's just a big long table thing. And it's just packed with stuff. It's got a printer on it, and the printer is part of our backpack. It's all in there. These things are things we carry. Why do I know this? Because when they disappear, we have a reaction of sorts, right? In my home, before I moved to where I live now, we did at one point get robbed. Now, this isn't to make you feel bad for me. This is old news now. But there was some emotional attachments that we had to some of the things that disappeared. And you may be able to say, well, those are justifiable emotional attachments. True. We could justify them, but they're still things. So there's all kinds of things, and some of them are small. Then you might go into the garage and see a couple of cars or a car or maybe a moped or whatever it is. And, you know, then we see laundry. You've got clothes and you've got a mirror. These are all things that are in your backpack. And ideally, they all meet a biological, psychological, sociological, cultural, or spiritual need. If they don't, well, they're just niceties. And if they disappeared, it just would be less nicety. Okay, that was a bad one. But you get the point, okay? So the whole point behind things is to support life. That's what it's supposed to do. If it's not doing that, then the question is, do you really need to carry those things? Now, I'm not exactly a minimalist. I do love that idea. I really do. It doesn't work for me and my family right now because of my, I mean, honestly, I probably would be more of a minimalist if I didn't have my family, but they like things and I like to build relationships. And sometimes in relationships, you build relationships through gift giving. It's one of the love languages. And so we have things. Okay. I said biological, psychological, sociological, cultural, and spiritual near the beginning. Those 5 categories. So I'm going to give you a next category. Psychological. That's going to be things like emotions and thoughts about all the other stuff in your backpack. Okay, so it's emotions, it's thoughts, and it's about all the things that you carry in your backpack. So if you are driving an old beater car, we have 2 cars, both of them are pretty old, and I don't know that one of them is definitely a beater. Here's the deal. I have emotions and thoughts about that car on a daily basis when I turn the key and I'm hoping that it starts. And then I put it in gear and I'm hoping that it stays in gear. Like, these are real thoughts, real emotions, and they come up every single day. That's a reality. I also have emotions and thoughts about cultural issues, which I will share with you here. Some cultural issues. I'm sort of blending a little bit, but I'm just going to give it to you. Morals, economics, politics, science, religion, cultural issues. And that list can go on and on and on. And I have thoughts and feelings about all of those things. There's things within them that matter to me. And then there's other things that I could care less about. Maybe I've thought about it, maybe I haven't. But we do carry thoughts and emotions about all those things. And those thoughts and emotions, guess where they go? Boom, right in your backpack. Your history, psychological history. I'm bouncing back here for a second because I'm still with the thoughts and emotions, even though I addressed the cultural. I want to talk about the history. Your history, the things that happened to you as a child. I'm very clear. To you. You were a child. The things that happened to you as a child, you have thoughts and emotions about them. Now, later on, we're going to talk about, should I keep it or let it go? And if I decide to let it go, how do I truly let it go? Because there's still memories, right? Can I truly let anything go? The answer is yes, you can. You can. You absolutely can let a lot of things go. Now, it's obvious with things, but it's less obvious with emotions and thoughts. What about the other psychological pieces? Things like shame, the automatic negative thoughts, trauma. What about times in your life where you were not the brother or sister that you should have been to somebody, the son or daughter that you should have been to somebody? These are all psychological things that you carry. And a lot of them you can let go. And we'll get to that, not in this episode. Sorry. Right now, I'm just trying to help you explore what's in your backpack. So there's a fun way to do this. I do this from time to time in my clinical work. I'll give a backpack a title. It's going to be, maybe it's the shame backpack, and we'll explore what all the shame things are, the thoughts and emotions that we carry around those shame things, and we'll just explore the shame things. You know, sometimes we'll pull out a backpack and we're going to call it religion, and we'll just explore the things that are connected to religion. Which, by the way, these things can rabbit hole quite a ways. If that's a more helpful way for you to go about it, do it. Do that exercise, right? Categorize your backpack. Give it one specific title, and then explore all the things that connect to it. Okay. For our purposes today, I started with biological, psychological, sociological, cultural, and spiritual, because that's in the clinical world what we talk about. Those are the categories we often use. And which I didn't necessarily, I kind of categorized, I lumped a bunch of things into the culture, but let's unlump one of the pieces, the spiritual. Now, most of our world believes still in a deity, a God. That is a fact. You don't have to like it. You could be one that doesn't agree with that. But at the end of the day, most of our world, and historically, over time, most of our world believed in God, a God or gods. So the concept of God has been around since the beginning of recorded time. So when we look at morals and we look at religion, it's very important that we understand it comes from our history as a people. It comes from our history within a home. And it will play out in your future, whether you like it or not, because most of the people you come in contact with, the vast majority of the world's population, will have a moral structure of some sort and religious beliefs. Okay. Wanted to address that as far as spirituality, as far as demons and angels go. I know I've addressed that in some other podcasts along the way, but I just want to be abundantly clear. It is not an area. Matter of fact, here's the deal. If there is an area that you are feeling enticed to ignore, that's one of the first ones you should get after, in my opinion. Because as a clinician, as a mental health professional, one of the things that often happens is it's the omissions that are the most telling. So if you think about your backpack and you've got this entire pouch somewhere in your backpack that you just don't ever want to address, you probably should. Is it going to be easy? Almost guaranteed it will not be. But you probably need to get after it. So as you think about your things, I'm going to ask you to do something. I know this is a big ask, and I don't know if I'll get 1, 10, 30, 5,000 people who respond to this. But my hope is that you will think of a particular area within your backpack and do this as an exercise. This is a fun exercise anyway, because it really pushes you. Open up the links in this podcast, and there's a whole bunch of them, and they should be hyperlinked so that you could just click on it. Go to my email, go to my Twitter, go to my Facebook page, go to something in there and type out some of the things in your backpack that you need to explore. Do this exercise. I'm telling you, it would be good for you. It might be hard for you. Now, some of you might get into it and then realize, wow, I should not send this. I get it. Filter it. Be wise. You have the right to privacy. The idea that not everybody needs to know all your junk. Email is probably the most private. It would be between you and me. Putting it out on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. Anybody who wants to see it can see that stuff, because none of it's private for me. But send that in whatever form is reasonable for you, not burdensome, but reasonable for you. Send it. Do that. Let's see what's in your backpacks. And let's address some of those things, folks. If you're not going to invest in your process, that's telling. If none of those ideas sound good to you, go get a counselor. It doesn't have to be me. Matter of fact, most of y'all probably can't come see me anyway. Go get a counselor and do this. Empty out your backpack with a counselor. And remember, you can put anything you want back in. Taking something out and exploring it, there's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, if it's done well, it will only be helpful. Because then at least you're keeping it in your backpack on purpose. And if it's a big burden, a big weight on your shoulders, hey, you're doing it on purpose. That's your deal. You're choosing that path at that point. If you would do that exercise, I'm telling you, things in your life will begin to shift. It will be hard. And in the long run, if you stick to it and you do it well, it will be good. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope this was helpful. I look forward to hearing from you, and have a great day. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate our audience a lot, so we give you some simple ways to track us down. Please like, subscribe, and follow all the podcasts on different platforms, but you can also email us at healthyperspectives@protonmail.com, or you can check out our website at healthy-perspectives.com/podcast. It's a backward slash. So if you want to go to our landing page, if you go to healthy-perspectives.com, you'll still find us. You just got to click on the podcast button. Thank you so much.